Doug Crow back. Welcome to Module 7 of the Author Your Brand series. This module is called PLC, which stands for Publishing, Launching, and Campaigning. Let's get started. All right, welcome to Module 7, PLC. Not TLC, folks. PLC, Publish, Launch, and Campaign your book. We've gone through the positioning, the interior, the cover, the design, the outline, the content. It's time to publish your book. Time to launch it and design and execute a campaign that will further your brand and further your message. And if you're not already a member of Author Your Brand community, I highly encourage you to come back and join us. We'd love to have your involvement. We'd love to see and share your book and your message with us, so please feel free to join us. The publishing options are changing pretty quickly. There's traditional publishing, of course. There's self-publishing, and there's a hybrid model. We're going to cover the publishing dynamics of all three of these, and we'll spend the least amount of time on traditional publishing. It's not my forte, nor is it my favorite, but it is a viable way for national brands to expand their message. So it bears being discussed. We have some information for that on our PDFs and our premium system. Publishing is dynamic. It changes so rapidly. I think in 2009, Kindle books outsold printed books on Amazon. There have been more traditional publishing houses that have closed their doors in the past 7 or 8 years than we can count. And the image, the cachet of being a self-published author has shifted. When it first came out, it was like, oh, you're self-published? Oh, you're a toady. You're not worth anything. Nowadays, a self-published author who actually does well and makes money doesn't have to sell 1 million books because it'd be nice to, of course, but even with a book sales in the several thousand range, the fact that you're not getting a 5% royalty but a 90% or 100% royalty is terrific. People who do that are very, very happy with being a self-published author. The hybrid options are probably the most popular for a lot of authors because it gives people the option of being self-published, not going with the traditional publishing house and begging to be on the bookshelves for 6 weeks, but saying, no, I want to be published with a company that can help me with my distribution, but it's not going to limit me based on my content, which traditional publishers, of course, reject thousands of books for every one they decide to take on. Most hybrid publishers will take on just about anybody, provided you have the resources to make it happen. So print publishing, what does a publisher actually do? What are their roles? Traditionally, in the old days, a publisher would take an author's book and edit it, tweak the cover, print them up, send them to bookstores, fly the author around, do book signings, promote it, market it, put ads in papers, and help the author sell their book so they could earn their nice, generous 3 to 5% royalty on the book, and the publisher kept all the rest of the money because, quite frankly, they did a lot of the heavy lifting of marketing the book. Nowadays, this is not so true. Nowadays, with such a limited distribution network, I mean, gosh, so many bookstores have closed. There's basically 1 or 2 left, and self-publishing has overtaken traditional publishing in many, many ways. Traditional publishers do not take as many risks nowadays because they can't really afford to. They mainly stick with established authors who have got a following, who've got a platform to distribute their books already through their following, and they just help it out by getting the books on the shelves of the Barnes & Noble's stores and a little bit of national exposure in New York Times, etc. So a publisher right nowadays, they pretty much print books and they've got access to distribution. That's it. For self-publishing, for publishing in the print, we're going to cover the very specific steps of doing this. It's very tactical. It's not very glamorous, but it has to be done if you're going to self-publish. And we're going to help you really, really avoid the overwhelm on this. And we're going to showcase one system. There are dozens and dozens of self-publishing options and printers and channels you can use. We're going to focus on the simplest one here, which is going to be the Kindle book. There is ones you can use for Barnes & Noble and get the Nook, if you got a Nook. I don't know who has a Nook. iBooks are also pretty popular. But quite frankly, a Kindle book can be read on an iPad. So you might want to have both formats there, and that's not a bad thing to do. And there's some real distinct advantages to using an iBook in terms of media. But we're going to focus right now for the examples in this module of using the Kindle. So first of all, interior design. When you go to actually, you've got your book, already manuscript written, you're not going to take a Microsoft Word document and send it to your printer, right? Have you ever looked at a real book? They don't look like MS Word documents or pages. They look a little bit different. They have some design elements on the interior of your book. And here's where I want to really spend a little bit of time discussing design again, because it's so important. There are several types of people out there, some who skim books and some who actually read them word for word, and those in between, and those who do both. Your book has to appeal to all four of those modalities I just mentioned. The skimmer, the reader, the person who does both. What else did I say? Your book has to apply, it has to be readable to a variety of reading styles. Therefore, you must have a little artistic element to your book. It has to have some design elements, perhaps some different fonts, some bold. Not overly so, not hypey though, not ugly. Just take a look at other really good books that you like and see how they're laid out. In your genre, of course. If it's nonfiction, stick with nonfiction. If it's in the health industry, focus on the health books. But take a look at the design elements that other people are using in their books and copy them. Say, oh, I like the way this looks. I want to use that in my book. I mean, you're not going to copy word for word or steal their icons or their images, of course, but copy the concepts, model success, and break up your pages so that it's visually appealing and you're not going to force the reader to read every single word to get your point. There should be summations, bullet points, font changes, a few things in bold, perhaps some graphics, and of course for your digital book you've got to have embedded links. Click here for X, to join our list, to buy something else, to submit your comments, to buy my next book. Whatever you want to put in your book, on your digital book, you've got to have embedded links. And in those embedded links now, it comes back to module 2 about your marketing and your positioning. What benefits are you going to deliver in your book, and your blog, and your video, telephone, cards, in person? Are those links going to all go to the same place? There should be consistency across your platforms when it comes to what you're driving people to do. If you're marketing, I want you to send all of your marketing energy towards developing your tribe. So that's going to be giving people the opportunity to join and engage with you, not just sign up for a list and get a free report. Of course, everyone has that. What are you going to do to get people to join your tribe? How are you going to make sure they do that no matter what kind of media they're into? Whether they've seen you on Facebook, read your blog, read your Kindle book, or got your printed book, will your embedded command, will your link, will your call to action send them to the same general idea or the same location to allow them to say, hey, listen, I'd like to have you join us. And the second point of that is being needy versus being service-oriented. There's a lot of authors out there who inundate their readers with join here, sign up. And you know what? They appear a little needy. There's a way to do it that's classy and a way to do it that's needy. I like to do it from a position of service. What can I give you? What can I educate you? How can I share my experience to help you be a better author? That's what I'm doing right now with this course. I'm saying, listen, come join us. Come join our tribe. Join our free membership. And if you want to upgrade later, that's great. If you don't, that's great too. Whatever's good for you, it's good for me. And it's good for our tribe because we like both types of people. We need people who are engaged fully, and we need people engaged on the periphery to give us new ideas as well. But whatever that is, whatever you're providing, make sure it's benefit driven. Make sure that what you're putting in your links in your book and your embedded commands in your blog and your book and your Kindle, it's all driven on benefits. And it goes back to your action step in terms of we discussed it in an earlier module, but it's got to be repeated, is that you're going to have to ask people to take some action here. I'm going to ask you to join our tribe. I think I've asked in every single module. I really would love for you to see your name on our Facebook wall. I'd love to see, hey, I got my book's coming out, Doug. Thanks for your help. Or, hey, thanks for your inspiration. I did it myself. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to us. We want everyone, no matter what your level of involvement, to be successful. And the way to do that is to ask. Ask your readers to engage with you. Ask them for reviews. Hey, if you like this book, would you give me a review? If you didn't like it, send me an email instead. I don't need a negative review, but I'd love to get your feedback to make it my next book even better. Go ahead and give them that choice, give them the option, put your email in your book. And when you do that, when you're authentic and you're speaking from the heart, you're going to get more people evangelizing your mission. You're going to get your tribe to say, yeah, man, this is what I was thinking too. And that was a key phrase just then. That's what I was thinking too. Again, when you're talking about yourself and your stories in your book, that's great. But make sure you're relating your stories to the reader. The most popular radio station in the world, WIIFM, what's in it for me? What do I get by reading the next page? What do I get by clicking on this button? What do I get for me by coming to your Facebook page? Right? So the more you ask your questions to your readers, they better be benefit-driven and they better take them somewhere good. Because if it's fluff, if it's all marketing, I'm going to opt out right away. Campaign. After you've published your book and you've launched it, there is a whole 1,001 things you can do to campaign your message. You're going to be looking at joint venture partners. You're going to be looking at doing some search engine optimization, not just on your website, but on Amazon, which is a completely different algorithm than what's on Google. You're going to probably want to put together a video trailer for your book. You're going to want to have your Facebook group. You're going to offer bonuses and spiffs for people buying your book. There's 1,001 other things you can do to launch your campaign. You will not be able to do all 1,001. There's an actual book out there, 1,001 ways to market your book. But there's another blueprint available in the PDF here that outlines it's 63 steps that you have to use to campaign your book. And if you get through half of those, there's a really good chance you'll be successful with your book. So when it comes to campaigning, this is where the overwhelm can easily just slam into you. So be sure by this point you've tested out a couple of your outsourcers to help you with your website and your tasks, maybe a virtual assistant over the past few weeks. It's time to design your campaign. Use our design PDF in the section here to help you lay out what you want to do, what your resources are to launch your book properly and to continue to campaign it so that you can further your message and build your own personal tribe around your message and your passion.